Peace and blessings, good people. Salute, 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 salute to everybody in the building. I hope everybody is well. Sorry for the delay, the inconvenience of the delay. But we were trying to like work things out. This was a very impromptu link up between the beautiful King BFTB and I. Please let me know if you guys could hear me. Put some nines in the chat if you guys could hear me. Let me know that we are in the building and cooking. Hopefully everything is well. I am so sorry to keep you guys waiting. Oh my goodness. Yes, we got some nines in the building. Yes, you guys. Yes, yes, indeed. I'm so excited to come and sit down with you all and discuss some boxing. I tried to keep it a secret as best as I could to, share the news that me and BF, we're going to link up and do some boxing talk together. I think it's a little bit overdue, if I may say so myself. We were trying to, get things situated on my page, of course, because I had already set up the live. But we figured that instead of wasting, more time or just prolonging everything, we just would come to his page and do it that way until all the other technicalities for getting it onto, being able to stream on my page as well was figured out. So we just kind of concluded that, we jump over here and do it in the graveyard, right? An official collaboration in the graveyard. So I actually want to bring in the king if I can, and see what we're going to talk about with you guys today. See what there is to discuss. We got a lot of things that I wanted to touch on, and I just felt like it would be wonderful to do that alongside the beautiful king, BFTB. Yeah. So salute to the king, BF.
What's up, Queen?
What's up, beautiful king? Thank you so much for the last minute link up. I hit him up literally this afternoon, like, yo, it just popped up in my head. Do you want to do something live? Because I didn't really have like a completely drawn out trajectory for the show this week. I just had a couple of ideas here and there, but I didn't really like go ham as I usually do week to week on the basis that I like to cover. So I was like, well, maybe I could just sit and have some dialogue with BF and we could chop it up on what we think about, various perspectives and happenings right now in boxing. So thank you so much. You did not have to do that. I was not sure if you were going to be busy, but I'm glad that you had the free time for us to cook with the family today. So thank you.
Absolutely.
And most definitely thank you for allowing us to do this on your space, for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
Yes, me too, King. I see we got some family in the building that I wanted to shout out. Salute to the beautiful sister Cameron in the building. She says, be back. Blessings to my beautiful sister and chat family. My twin, what's up, Daryl? In the building, I see you, King. Salute to BVG in the building. I see you. I see Raul Garcia in the building. Salute to you. Yes, indeed. We got Akil Vibes in the building. Eric O, 10 Toes in the building, as usual. Salute to the King Freedom. Yes, indeed, you guys. I see you guys making your way in. The richest one is also in the building. Salute to you, King. The King Stephen X. Always 10 Toes with your girl SugarFree and the King BFTB. Always 10 Toes. Lovely to see you. Salute to everybody. Thank you so much for joining in today. And once again, I definitely apologize for the delayed time in getting started. But of course, we had to make it right for you guys because we wanted to, make this little collaboration work. So I'm excited about it. All right, beautiful King BF. So I called today's discussion The Wave because I feel like there is an ushering in of some new energy in boxing, but I'm not too sure of what is on, what is within the tide, right? So I feel like there's this rushing in of information. There's a rushing in of possible changes in boxing. There's a rushing in of all sorts of energy that I wanted to divulge with the family today and get your take on it. So basically, it appears to me, like I said, like a huge wave is entering into the current boxing landscape, and it's causing quite the shakeup, if I'm being honest, you guys. You know what I mean? We've got some new developments in the works. We've got shocking solidifications that we just got news of earlier today, which we will get into. We got raw materials at hand, raw materials that are surfacing that stand to bring some changing of the tide into boxing. And I'm wondering if that changing of the tide is going to be among what we have asked for, or are we getting in some more BS pretty much, right? So I'd like to think that, whatever the moment that's coming about is definitely holding, let's say, a level of potentiality to wash in some new aspects that could benefit us as boxing fans, that can benefit, of course, the fighters as well. Hopefully we get a washing in of new heart. Hopefully there is a washing in of a new lifeline to boxing, right? Because we definitely need that back into the sport. I feel like a lot of that was washed away, washed out of the sport for a period of time. Possibly the new tide that's coming in is going to bring some refreshment and some much needed change in direction. Okay. And things have happened over the past week, real talk, since we last spoke, you guys, that have had me speculating, as always, right? Speculating and perceiving if some of today's boxers have only been interested, let's say, in riding the wave, right? In riding a fad, or simply, trying to ride in a moment of, popularity and recognition that is temporary. But where is the legacy within this dialogue? Where is the legacy within this yearning for recognition and popularity that these people want? Because real talk, if the legacy is not on deck, what are we talking about? What are we giving these fighters recognition for if they are not showing up 10 toes in valor, in championship? That's a big question that I have. And I think that this current era, if I could be quite honest, has bred a temptation to be more hung up or caught up on riding a wave, instead of creating legacy. And I think that this current climate, especially the social media age, has definitely, been a tempting portion of that particular type of mindset to say, okay, well, let's just talk about it and let's not be about it. That's what I see as a central theme within this current wave or era of boxing, right? And even though I understand the idea, you guys, of, the idiom, right? The idiom of closed mouths don't get fed. I understand that mindset, because we all know that people have to speak up, people have to call people out, this, that, and the third. Trust me, I'm on deck for that. Closed mouths don't get fed. Trust me, I am aware of the idiom. But at the same time, I think that we have seen repeated instances where the potential for smoke is used as a, let's say, a kind of foreplay, right? But it's a foreplay that never reaches tangibility. It's kind of just left at the mark, right? And so there's this teasing that's happening, that has fans interested and engaged, but there's no materialization that follows. And that's what had me leading into the thought of, riding a wave. Are these people just talking to gather the attention? Are they just leeching off of 15 minutes of attention from the boxing world with no real intention on standing 10 toes and solidifying the best and biggest fights like the beautiful warriors that we know and acclaim so much, right? I think that entire myths and legends, have been created simply off of association alone. You got entire myths created around certain fighters who haven't really shown and prove anything when we dial back and look at what they've done in the sport. But simply by association, they have been able to make a name for themselves. Okay, quite a people come to mind when I made that statement just now. Okay, and some fighters, a lot of it is from fighters that I like. I could even use Tank Davis because, of course, he is infamous for his association with, let's say, Floyd Mayweather. But has Tank Davis really showed and proved among, his contemporaries, the best among his contemporaries. I'm not saying that he isn't worth our belief in him. I'm not saying that he, for example, is not, to be considered somebody of phenomenal talent. That's not what I'm positing. But I'm talking about the myth surrounding him has largely been made. That's an example of a myth largely being made simply and strictly off of association alone, because it certainly, isn't from a notable king that he dethroned, for example, right? So those are the types of things that I'm looking at. And it's not necessarily that, calling people out or that perspective is a bad thing, right? Because you should be speaking up, like we said. But it is when that is the only objective, is to talk. That's when I have an issue, right? When it stops and starts at the talking. When it stops and starts at the calling of somebody's name, that is what I find to be quite questionable and curious. I think that these fights need that level of fuel. It's okay to get the spark going, but where is the blaze after the spark takes shape? It should not be left at a spark in boxing. And I think that we have seen that for far too long a prolonged period of time. Okay, I think that this is the type of thing that we begin to get when we see wave riding or clout chasing being prioritized and viewed, real talk, as more satisfying than standing on business, you guys. That's the type of era that I am standing within right now. I'm looking to my left, I'm looking to my right, and I'm saying, okay, so the riding of somebody's wave or the clout chasing is the new thing. When did it begin and end there in boxing? That's a huge question that I like for us to, ponder for a second. I think it's a very viable question. I think it's a very poignant question for us to be discussing as boxing fans, at least as cognizant boxing fans. And also, how many times have we seen that? The stopping and starting at one before it ever even turns into something called a 2 or a 3. I know I'm definitely tired of seeing that in boxing. We've seen this time and time again, let's say over the past couple of years. So much so that this particular movement is becoming and finding a sense of normalcy in boxing. It seems to me no longer anomalous, a thing in this particular type of climate. It is no longer an anomaly in this era. How many fighters today are truly able and interested in generating their own wave is a question that I have had over the past few weeks, taking a gander at things. In other words, how does one go about showing valor and earning their place? How does one go about doing that? You know what I mean? Do they do it, let's say like Teofimo Lopez? Do they take his route by calling the names of men that he's ducked for nearly a decade? Is that how you generate your own wave these days? Or perhaps maybe it's via throwing around the names of people you have no intention whatsoever in fighting. Is that how we do it these days? Perhaps maybe you say some racially disparaging rhetoric every now and again to get some attention on you for clicks and views. Is that how we generate waves these days? Huh? Is that the cute thing to do? Or perhaps let's say we take the Richardson Hitchens route. Okay, and we assimilate as best we can by parroting and, let's say, cosseting the talking points of race fans in old media. Do we try to assimilate and get a pat on the head from massa? Is that the new way to generate a wave in boxing? Shitting on, let's say, other Black elite males in the sport? I have questions, you guys. Do you beat your chest in a full room, in let's say a room full of subpar competition and demand that everybody call you a king, even though you are among subpar competition? Is that what we do? Because from the men that I come from, they step into the ring and earn valor among the best among them, unflinchingly, undeterredly, and with no chaser. That's how you earn valor in the ring. That's how you generate and sustain not only a wave, but a clear pathway towards legacy. That's the boxing that I know. That's the boxing that I support. That's the boxing that I love. Okay. And I guess I'll just round it out here in saying, before I bring on my beautiful king, there comes a moment, you guys, where the parlance cannot suffice. The talking cannot suffice. Okay? What type of current are these fighters following right now? That's what I have been sitting back and asking. What current are they generating right now? Off of what principle and off of what basis? And to what level are we holding these fighters accountable? And to what level are we supporting the fighters that show the level of valor that we claim time and time again this sport is missing? That's a good question, y'all, because people be talking about, oh, the best got to fight the best, right? Oh, we want to see the best fights get made. And then when people show and prove to get those types of things put in place, people are readily targeting fighters and putting them down for taking on the challenges. That's got to be discussed as well. I think it's steadily being made apparent that there are levels and miles and miles and miles between many of whom we consider to be notable. The division is being made absolutely evident. As time passes on, we are seeing the difference in stature and everything. Though a lot of these fighters, we hold up to be, we let's say believe in and we reinforce those particular fighters as a group of them. It's not just one or two. There are a plethora, myriad fighters who we uphold and believe to be worthy of our belief, right? But we got to keep it real that a lot of these people seem to be quickly fading. Some of them are, let's say, for example, allowing interests in fights to fade to black, real talk, by not making them happen, by waiting too long to quote unquote, letting them marinate. There's a goddamn difference between letting it marinate and letting it rot. Distinction has to be made. That's where I'm coming from, at least. Also, we got the example of people opting out quietly altogether. Talks of retirement and just overall lackluster passion displayed, or taking fights that with opponents that nobody's even checking for. That's another way that these fights are dwindling, and their capacity to show and prove to us is dwindling by way of those types of actions. Okay? But regardless of these movements, I think that what people fail to realize is that 15 minutes of relevancy, 5 seconds of your names being written about on Twitter or in articles, none of that temporary mindset can ever or will ever be anything more than a drop in the bucket or a drop in the ocean of greatness. It'll never compare. It's only a drop in the ocean next to greatness, or the attempt at that greatness. It will always pale in comparison. It will never have any type of weight. You seeking out a fad or a 5-minute riding of a wave. It'll pale in comparison to those people who are actually on a pathway to solidifying themselves in this sport. Many of the boxing community, you guys, if I can keep it real, are forgetting that these fighters approach notable contemporaries, or their approach to notable contemporaries, rather, will determine the flow towards a potential for legacy. How they are approaching their fights now. I don't know if these kids maybe are thinking about, are so wrapped up in the present that they are forgetting that there is a tomorrow and a day after tomorrow. Everything is too focused on the now. You should be focused on that. But what is the now doing if it's not feeding tomorrow? That's a question that I put at the forefront for us as well today. Interestingly, we don't generally hear that word too often in today's language, right? We don't really hear that word legacy from too many people. That is, we hear it, of course, from the real ones who are on that type of time. But that's not necessarily a large word that we hear anymore. Legacy these days from many of the people we consider to be notable. Only few of them use that word. And I find that to be absolutely crazy because I don't see how that should be not a part of your language. I don't understand how legacy isn't a part of your daily jargon, right? Things have gotten leisurely, in other words, for some reason in the boxing world. Okay? People are content with typing on Twitter and maybe, I don't know, sipping lemonade while they take a quick dip in the ocean or something like that. But they are forgetting that there are sharks in these parts. Yeah, there's still sharks that lurk underneath this water. So while everybody thinks that they are safe in being cute and typing up tweets and deleting tweets and calling out people and retracting and rescinding the call outs, there are sharks underneath these waves. There are still sharks there, hungry and ready. So while they foolishly frolic and sit back and backstroke and float along their cowardice, thinking shit is sweet, there are monsters swarming. Those things still exist in boxing, thankfully. Thanks to a few real ones in this sport, there are monsters who are showing their teeth and showing you how to hunt. That's what I look forward to in boxing. And a lot that we are going to discuss today are going to be putting and shedding light on that type of spirit that is being upheld, in this sport today. Even though it's not by as many people as we would like, the spirit is had. The spirit is still front and center. We have some wonderful exemplifications of that. All right. So yeah, that was pretty much, I wanted to give an overview of my thoughts this past week, and definitely wanted to chime in with the beautiful King on his perspective on the current climate of boxing, and all these topics that I wanted to discuss. Now, firstly, beautiful King, speaking of sharks, did you see any shark activity or behavior from, let's say, Schofield's performance? I'll start there, right? We want to kind of ease people in. The Schofield performance against Tevin Farmer last evening. Now, of course, he had a victory over Tevin Farmer. Let me just say that it was definitely not what I was expecting. I was certainly expecting a good fight, okay? But I was expecting a fight. That's not necessarily what we got in this particular fight, BF. What were your thoughts about this fight, my beautiful King?
This was a shocker to me.
Me too.
Yeah, I expected a little bit more from Tevin, but
1,000.
I can't. What you say, love?
I said 1,000.
I can't say that this was a difficult one, because saying anything after listening to what you put out, right? Saying something, man, this is a difficult one, because I don't want to down and degrade Floyd Schofield, right? I don't want to degrade Floyd Schofield.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same token, like after watching Tevin Farmer, both of those fights against Zapata, and in my opinion, he actually beat Zapata in at least one of those fights. He might have beat him twice, but he at least beat him in one of those. And for that fight to go the way it did, and then like those two fights, and then to watch Floyd Schofield just absolutely annihilate this man.
Yes.
Like that right there, man, that sort of took me away a little bit, because I wasn't expecting that. Like I wasn't expecting that at all. And yes. I'm actually kind of a little bit lost for words the way that Tevin got destroyed.
Yeah, me too, actually. I was definitely surprised. I'm like, what? Damn, he got him out of there in 3 minutes. Like,
that was bad.
Like, I was expecting, a war. I was expecting to see some IQ. We know Tevin Farmer is a wonderful, boxer. He's an experienced boxer. You know what I'm saying? He's been fighting for a long time. I was expecting for that maturity to reign. Honestly, I actually picked Farmer to win in this fight. As I know many people have, many people that I know have as well. And, to just see him just get in there and just get, mollywop like that upside the head. It was like, wait, what happened? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I was not expecting that at all. And it was weird because at the onset, I think that Schofield kind of just, I think from like the first few seconds, maybe he had already established dominance. Like he already came out as the aggressor right on the outset of the round.
Yep.
So it was interesting, but I was expecting, within, of course, the few seconds that I was engaged in the first round, I was expecting, okay, well, he's coming out aggressive. It's evident. He made no bones about it. Listen, I'm stepping. So I was expecting in real time for Farmer to make just as quick of an adjustment to that aggression, but it just wasn't, it didn't show up. It really didn't show up. I was like, whoa, and then to drop him multiple times, it's not like it was just a one-time thing. And he was, he got put on his ass. What was that? 2 or 3 times
in the first round?
In the first round, and under 3 minutes, you got put on your ass 3 goddamn times. Jesus. Oh my God! You could have paid me to have thought of that outcome. You know what I'm saying? So we know Schofield is a banger. It was still so shocking. Go ahead, beautiful King.
I said I wasn't expecting that because Floyd Schofield hasn't fought anybody.
Yes,
he hasn't fought nobody, and for him to do that to Tevin Farmer, man, that was crazy. And yeah, that was crazy. Nobody has annihilated Tevin like that. He's been beaten before, right? He's been beaten.
Yes.
But not like that. That right there was the thing for me. Not like that. Ain't nobody punch on him like that.
Exactly. I was so astonished. I was like, what? I've never seen this man look like this in no bout, getting ragged around in the ring like this. What?
Yeah, bad.
And looking at that, of course, I gave Schofield his full, his full props, because it's like, okay, well, what can one say? He went in there, he did the goddamn thing in 3.2 seconds, pretty much. It's like, yo. So, but on the back of that, even though it was a shocking, stunning performance, of course, unexpected outcome. Like you said, I don't want to soil his victory, and I don't want to take away from his potential. So I want to tread lightly when I say this, but it is a thought that I did have. It's like, okay, you fought the likes of Tevin Farmer. Tevin Farmer didn't get the opportunity to really showcase his expertise, and that's to no fault of Schofield, because he should have been. You know what I'm saying? That was on Farmer for being off like that. But at the same time, I am questioning off of the back of such a quick victory. I'm wondering do you think that he stands to claim the 135 division? Do you think that Schofield claimed the 135? Because even though it was a good victory, and shout out to Schofield, props to him, congrats to him, I am wondering though, if because he did not get the extensive experience with somebody the likes of Farmer's boxing ability, can he bring, what is he going to do when he is with somebody that he cannot, let's say, get that particular type of shot off on, when a moment isn't created for him to do that? What is he going to do with somebody in there who actually gets the time and the opportunity and the space and creates the space to show the superiority boxing wise? What is he going to do up against that? That's a question that I have.
Well, that's the question I have too. I have the same question, because I didn't really see him do any, I didn't see him get tested. I didn't see him go through the fire. Now, again, in the sport of boxing, you don't get paid for overtime. So that's get him out of there, you get him out of there. But in the same token, I still don't like. I think Tevin Farmer might have been overly confident. I think the fact that from him fighting to those fights that he fought the way he did against Zapata, I think that in this situation, that actually might be working against him in all honesty, because I feel like he came in there way too overly confident, thinking that he was just going to mollywop old boy.
Yes.
And it didn't play out that way. Like I'm thinking that his confidence is what got him. And there's nothing wrong with being, you're supposed to be confident, right?
Right.
But I think he was way too overly confident. Yes. And I felt like he did something that he went in there like he didn't have no guard, he didn't have nothing, and he just got blitzed.
Literally. I definitely think that he took he went in there, like you said, with an overconfidence. I think that he felt, okay, well, Schofield is young, he's wet behind the ears.
Yeah.
He may have over-exalted or over-assumed his maturity, over-assumed his experience, and felt like, oh, he could just go in there and kind of saunter his way in there to victory. But that was not the case. It just wasn't the case. Schofield was a sharpshooter. He's already aggressive, as we know, but I think that he may have put a little bit more pepper on that because he was dealing with somebody of notable experience, notable boxing, credibility and skills. So he did exactly what he should have done. He took complete advantage and put that aggression on, all the way on.
Yeah, that was bad, man.
That was crazy.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
That was bad.
So, okay. Do you think that Schofield, like I said, I know it's kind of indeterminate, of course, because we didn't really get to see a full-on, expression of a performance, but just gauging off of what we got last night, right? Because that's all we have. Do you think that Schofield, can stand with the likes of Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis? Do you think he is ready for that? I guess he is now the mandatory for Tank Davis at this particular moment.
Yeah.
Do you think that Tank Davis is going to entertain Schofield before retiring?
I don't see. The thing about it is Gervonta has never not fought a mandatory.
Exactly.
So if Floyd Schofield is called, because he's got to be called as the mandatory, right? If he's called, I believe Tank will fight him. I don't think Tank is going to drop his belt. I do think the WBA will move accordingly to allow Tank to fight the fights he wants to fight. But if there's no fights there, he'll fight his Mando. The thing about Shakur is I don't know if that fight will happen because Shakur has no reason to fight him. Right? He has no reason to fight him. There's already been the ducking or however anybody sees it with the poison or whatever he claimed, right? That's already been there.
Yeah.
So there is no necessary reason for Shakur to fight him. Floyd Schofield is not like anywhere near his mandatory or nothing like that.
Yeah.
So like his next up is like Abdullah Mason. But Abdullah Mason is going to be going a different direction. So that's not going to be there. Right. So it's one of those things where when you look at it, it's like who is he going to fight? Right? Like who is the guy for him to fight next? And I don't think Floyd Schofield is going to get that opportunity. I think they're going to run, especially after watching him annihilate Tevin like that. I think some fighters dodged the bullet. And if it was Shakur in this particular moment dodging that Floyd Schofield bullet, well, then it was Shakur, right? But I just don't see Shakur fighting him at all, to be honest. I don't see that fight happening at all. I think the aggression, accuracy, and power of a Floyd Schofield is a bad stylistic matchup with Shakur Stevenson. That's a bad stylistic. And I'm not saying Shakur can't beat him now. I'm saying the style is bad.
Right.
The style. Like Shakur likes to jump back. He likes to fight in the pocket. He's a front foot fighter, but people they notice. All right, they notice
his defense. Exactly.
Yeah, they notice his defense, but he's a front foot fighter. So I would favor Shakur Stevenson to beat him.
Right.
But I think it would be some really scary, some hairy moments in that. Right. His next up, his next up is if I'm not mistaken, it's Andy Cruz. But I think Andy's going the IBF route, which is going to leave some UK dude which he'll fight him, or that other Cuban dude, that Cuban what the hell, Yadir or Yadier. He's close to being next up. So there's people in line for Shakur, but I just don't see Floyd Schofield doing it.
Wow. So, okay. So what do you think if he does go, and if he is officially named the mandatory of Tank Davis, what do you think? What do you think is on the horizon for him if he does fight Tank Davis after that particular fight? Do you think he should move up?
For you're talking about Schofield, right?
Schofield, yeah.
I think Floyd Schofield, I haven't heard anything about him having issues making weight.
Yeah, same here.
I think him sitting at 35 is a good spot for him at 35, right? I believe he's got two guys in there, and Tank and Shakur, two guys that he can use their name to catapult his name. Right. And that's what it's all about a lot of times. People using other fighters' name to catapult their names. So him being there, and he'll be number one because if Zapata beats Shakur, then Zapata is going to be a WBC champion. If Zapata loses Shakur, he's going to drop down probably 4 or 5 rankings anyway. So either way it looks, either way it goes, Floyd Schofield is going to be number one, right? The WBA normally calls their mandatories at the end of the year, or like to end towards the middle of the year, they'll be calling their mandatories. So you can look at Schofield, since we're already in the middle, right? Mm-hmm. You can look at Schofield being called the Mando, or being called at like towards probably like October, November timeframe. Wow. That's when they'll say, Tank, here's your Mando. Because Tank is fighting Lamont Roach, and he's not going to have an opponent after that. So you can expect the WBA to call Floyd Schofield towards the end of this year. And I think that's a hellacious fight. It depends on what style Tank fights. People get enamored with Tank's skill set, and he's a skilled fighter, but they're enamored with the power. The problem is if Tank gets enamored with the power himself, like he did with Lamont Roach, then there's a bad thing there. Getting enamored with that with Schofield, that's all wrong, bro. It's all wrong and all bad, because Floyd Schofield can upset the apple cart for a lot of fighters.
Yes.
A lot of fighters. Specifically with what I just saw, nah, dog. Tank need to fight that man cautiously. He need to fight him carefully. If he fights this man, because all he is he's a faster, more powerful Sean Porter. That's all he is. He just fights like Sean. So if you allow him to do to get off first, if you allow him to put the pressure, you can see a fight with Tank where you would expect Tank to catch him and clip him and stop him, right? You would expect that, but he didn't do that with Lamont Roach. So it's one of those things where styles make fights, and this is an intriguing stylistic matchup because it's all based on what style Tank fights in. If he's the aggressor, if Tank becomes the aggressor, this could be really, really quick, a really quick fight in either direction. But if he boxes, I got Tank all day long. If he boxes, it's if he boxes.
Facts.
And the Tank of this era, this day and age, he doesn't really box like that. He's looking to knock you out. He's looking to get you out of there, keep the excitement, keep the fans looking at him the way they do. So this fight could be really, really intriguing. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And of course, this is also predicating upon the fact that, we would have to assume in this situation that Tank would be the victor to have a mandatory, right? Because what if Roach comes in there and absolutely upsets the apple cart himself with the rematch?
Which could very well happen.
So, yes.
And that fight too depends on Tank's style. If Tank comes out and tries to box Lamont Roach the way he boxed him the first time, he is going to lose. This is not even a conversation, because Lamont Roach has a different type of mindset. He has now he has even more confidence. So Lamont Roach fighting a Tank Davis that he beat, and Lamont knows he beat him. If he doesn't change his style, have a different style, he's going to get washed.
1000%. I 100% agree, and it definitely leaves plenty to the imagination about what that outcome is going to look like, because ain't no goddamn reason that fight should have been a draw in the first place. Real talk. So it's like, damn, he's already coming in with his own esteem. And Lamont Roach, let's not forget, y'all, he amassed a hell of a lot of new fans, and I'm one of them. As far as like, well, I can't say fan, but I support the brother. Where
Yeah.
before I previously was not checking for him at all, but that he earned my respect in that particular fight with Tank back in March. And so he's coming in with not only his own understanding and his own "I told you so" moment, like I told you I could stand toe to toe with this dude, he's nothing, pretty much. He also has a massive people who believe that. There are going to be people in this upcoming fight, that are going to be cheering for Roach in the crowd.
Yep.
And that's a huge, difference in what Tank Davis is used to.
Absolutely.
That's a huge difference. He is not used to, people coming in there, and having a divided crowd at his fights.
Yeah, that's another.
That's an interesting
thought process, because with all those fans, you would expect the crowd to be overwhelmingly for Tank, right?
Yes.
But what the point that you just made is a valid one, because this man noticed the boos that he was getting.
Yes.
So noticing the boos you're getting and then trying to justify, to get people to stop booing you.
Yeah, he got emotional.
And that right there, I'm not necessarily sure. Matter of fact, that's not a good thing. Not that I'm not sure. It's a horrible thing.
Yes.
You're noticing that now. If you're noticing that now, you're going to be looking for it in a rematch, which could put you into doing certain things that you shouldn't do.
1,000%. And what's that going to do to his mentality? The man who is so used to reigning supreme, the man who is used to being the sweetheart, so to speak, the sweetheart of boxing, the darling of boxing. What is he going to do in real time if that same energy is brought where people are booing him or whatever, or over cheering for every little thing that Lamont does, whether he's successful or not? Just because they support him, they are going to be cheering by the droves for Lamont Roach, those people who have been converted into fans of Roach.
Yes.
How was Tank Davis going to mentally be able to deal with that? He's never had to deal with that ever in his career. So it's going to be super interesting to see how he handles that.
I'm intrigued now, because I didn't even think about that.
Yes, indeed, beautiful king. Also, now that we're on the topic, speaking of, Tank Davis and that Roach fight, isn't it interesting that we are coming into July, and there has been no official fight date, fight poster, fight card announcement, undercard announcement released? How crazy is that? What are your thoughts on that?
That fight might get postponed. It might get postponed again to September, because they have fights on the undercard that can be headlines, right? They've got the Gary Russell versus old boy on there. They got that. They got Shock and Cool Boy. Like, there is some there. This card is getting stacked the way Don King used to stack cards. Wow. So if the fight gets postponed, which I can see it getting postponed, I've already heard rumblings of people talking about they're moving it to September, right? They're not going to lose the date. That date of August 16th, that date is going to be there. There's a PBC card for sure. It's just who the headline is the conversation.
Wow.
Right? Who the headline is. Because from what I've been told earlier today, was it today or yesterday? One of the two, is that they're looking into moving to postponing Tank Lamont Roach, just because it hasn't been announced. So they're looking to postpone that. So they haven't yet, but it's out there. The thought is out there right now.
That's crazy, because I'm thinking about, like, in the interest of promotion, how the hell are you going to, promote with, 4 or 6 weeks? Like, there's a buildup, there are pressers, there are interviews. All of this stuff cannot be rushed. So, it definitely had me speculating. Also, what really gave me pause, as to the heat of this fight being in full steam, was the fact that Lamont Roach, I'm not sure if you were aware of this, beautiful king, last week, in the midst of Roach and Tank Davis going back and forth, Roach shared that Tank Davis had not even signed his portion of the deal.
Yes. Well, see, I knew this already, and I told people, and I keep telling people, he wants more money. Like, he wanted more money. I was under the impression that he said, okay, he'll just accept the money that they gave him, and that's the reason why August 16th was going through. But there is no facts here that he was comfortable with the money. There is no facts here that he's okay with what they was offering him, right? And that still could be the case on why he has not signed his portion of the contract, right? Because he's not comfortable with the money. He wants more bread. But like I told everybody, Amazon told him, if you want a bigger bag, fight a bigger name. I don't think they really care about the rematch, to be honest. Wow. I think this is totally about him presenting a fight that Amazon wants to sell, right? And I don't think that I know it's not Lamont Roach. They don't give a damn about Lamont Roach. So this is one of those things where, hey man, you just gonna have to eat this. He gonna have to eat this.
Wow.
And if Tank don't eat it, that's the reason why there's conversations of Tank in Turkey, because of him having to eat this bag or eat this fight, which there is no guarantee he's going to do it. Just putting that out there. There's no guarantee that he's going to eat this and just take, $1.5 million to fight Lamont Roach and hope to make all that bread up on the back end. Like, there's no guarantee that he's going to do that.
Wow. Okay. So that's crazy. Putting that into the mix. So, okay. So my thing is, like, let's say if that is, a matter or a factor at hand, so the let's say this fight is more so leaning on, the idea that business-wise, let's say for Amazon Prime, they are not interested because they do not find a value for it. But, I think that the rematch stands, of course, to be, way more successful than the first one. First of all, because everybody felt that the whole boxing community overwhelmingly felt that fight was not worth anything. People started being, speaking up. Even diehard, people have been saying, listen, I did not ask for this particular fight from Tank Davis. Okay, I will support it. I did not ask for it. So that the overall sentiment surrounding the initial fight was not what we have ever seen of a Tank Davis fight. There was pretty much, a tepid reception to it. But in seeing the outcome of that first fight, it has everybody galvanized, beautiful.
Yes.
People are galvanized around this particular fight. And, so that would make me assume that the rematch stands to do far better numbers, which means that it will generate a sense of revenue. Why do you think that there is pause or would be pause on the fight of, Amazon, who stand to make this money? Because there's interest around what happened, the controversy in the first fight.
So people got to understand the format, right? So Gervonta has a 6-fight deal, but it's not a 6-fight back-to-back. People don't understand that. He's got a 6-fight, but it's a fight by fight, which is why he said what he said about him making more than Floyd Mayweather, because he absolutely has the potential to make more than Floyd Mayweather, 100%. But it's all based on who he's fighting. Like, people are acting dumb, right? They're acting as if the people who, the Amazon people who put Tank on don't watch YouTube. They do. YouTube is the wave of the future. So they absolutely watch YouTube. They absolutely know the fighters that are going to make the biggest bags, and Amazon wanted a piece of that. So they gave Tank the discretion to work on the fights that he wants to make, but the impression is that Floyd Mayweather was holding him back. So now, without Floyd Mayweather, then you should have the Shakurs, the Devins, the Lomas, the Teos. You should get those fights. That's the reason why Amazon says, okay, we're going to give you flexibility, right? We're not going to hold you back in no way, shape, or fashion. We're going to give you flexibility. We're going to give you the opportunity to make the biggest bag. We're going to give you the opportunity to see that, hey, this is the potential of your work, the potential of it. So, but we're not going to lock you in to 6 fights straight back to back to back to back to back, because we don't have no fighters to lock you in with. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you the opportunity to make your fights, right? Your Tank Davis, these fights should be big. We're going to give you the opportunity to make your big fights with the big names.
Wow.
But with making these big fights with the big names, you also with every reward, there's a risk of failure. So the risk of failure is if Gervonta doesn't want to do anything. And in this case, fighting Lamont Roach is a fight that nobody was looking for, nobody asked for, not even Amazon or anybody else. So while, yeah, we're giving you the opportunity to make big bags in every fight, but we're basing that on the competition that you're fighting. If you're fighting Lamont Roach, you're not going to get a big bag. So what he did in his diva mentality, right? Expecting Amazon to pay him a huge ass bag for fighting Lamont Roach. Bro, they told this man, we're not giving you this. You're bugging. You're bugging, bro. We're not in the business to lose money at all. We're in the business to make money. So if you're going to make money, then of course we'll all make money. Your bag will be bigger when our bag is bigger.
Yes.
But if our bag is not bigger, we're not going to lose money on you because your name is Tank Davis. Get the fuck out of here, bro. It's not going to happen. And that's what he expected. And that's why there is a hesitancy right now with announcing the Lamont Roach fight, because there's no guarantee he's even going to take the Lamont Roach fight.
Wow.
And at some point very soon, it's either shit or get off the pot. Like, we'll know within the next couple of weeks, because August 16th is a month away.
Literally a month away.
So
it's crazy.
Yeah, you're gonna have to shit or get off the pot, and we'll be knowing here in the next couple of weeks whether or not this fight is going to happen or not.
Oh my goodness, that makes all the sense of the world. And Beautiful King, I'm enlightened by that because it really does make me think. So okay, with that perspective, right? With him having, pretty much given free reign with Amazon.com. They just want to make sure I said Amazon.com. With Amazon, they just want, you can tell I shop there. But anyway, let's see. What they pretty much gave him free reign, Beautiful King, is what you're saying. They said,
what's it called? Carte blanche, I think it's called. Something like that.
Huh?
What's the terminology when they say they give you free range? It's what? They give you carte blanche or something like that?
Oh.
It's a terminology where I think that's the terminology. But he's got free reigns, basically.
Free range, open field is another.
To do what he wants, yes.
Yeah,
he writes his own checks. But his check is based on the level of competition. So if he wants to write a huge check, fight a big name. If you don't want a huge check, then you'll be fighting a little name.
So let's think about this, you guys, because I was not privy to that information. Now, this man is given free reign, which means he has the freedom. Okay, of course, above all, he is no longer under anybody's umbrella but his own. He is, quote unquote, in the driver's seat, head of GTD Promotions. Okay.
Yes.
So, and your level of competition is tantamount to the amount of money that you would make. So what you choose to make is what you will be paid. The bigger the name, the bigger your paycheck. And this man chose Lamont Roach, Beautiful King. What the fuck does that say of Tank? Having that amount of freedom, and you chose Lamont Roach. Salute to the brother Lamont Roach. He stood 10 toes in that fight. I'm not disrespecting that man. I'm just saying, prior to us knowing that he was going to stand on equal footing with Tank Davis, the boxing world was not only calling for him, we were not checking for him. We were not turning to the left or to the right. This man had full range of motion to pick the biggest names that he could and get the bag that he says he's obsessed with.
Yes.
And he chose the least valuable name that he could find?
Yes.
Oh my God. This is worse than I thought.
The highest reward he can get for the least amount of risk. And that's what he got. And that's why he made $13 million.
Oh my God. But this is the same man with the same groupies that talk about the bag. Well, he just cared about the bag. He just cared about why the fuck he didn't choose a name that was going to guarantee him the huge bag that he's supposedly obsessed with.
He still can. He still can now. That's not off the table. He still can. And that's the reason why I tell y'all it should be Shakur Stevenson next. It should be.
And that's probably why he's aiming for and gunning for Jake Paul.
Yes.
Because that he's looking at that as a bag, but even though it may be a bag, it is not a value. See, what Tank Davis doesn't understand, and this is what I hold him to the fire for, is that these things can operate in tandem. They can operate in tandem.
Yes.
Okay? You do not have to have either or. This is a situation where both and can exist. Both and can exist. He can get his bag and have a superior level of competition.
Yes.
He is so one-sided. He is thinking one-dimensionally. He is thinking myopically. I have a problem with that. This is why I can't necessarily grant him the crown that I want to give him, because he is refusing to give. He is serving with one hand. It's weird. It's lopsided. He is looking lopsided to me.
Very much so.
You will run into the arms of Jake Paul and say, well, I'm after the bag, but you acting like fighting a Shakur Stevenson or having fought a Devin Haney, the young king, wasn't going to give you equal or more of a bag, because not only are they money grabs, but they are the actual fighters that people want to see if you can triumph over.
Yes, 100%. 100%. And
I can't
nothing
stand the dialogue that people have that's like, oh, well, he can't fight Shakur, or he wasn't going to fight Devin, as if they don't bring that type of esteem and credibility and money to the table.
Yes. And they bring big bags and they bring big notoriety. And it's all of those are huge fights. Those are legacy determining fights, all of those. So I don't understand the hesitation in any way, shape, or form, unless there was something more to it than just what people claim. Absolutely.
And I know people don't like it, his the Purple Pain Sassy Patrol, because I call Tank Davis Purple Pain Davis, and I also call him Red Light Special Davis.
God damn.
So I don't know what Purple Pain, the fans of Purple Pain, are going to say about him. You know what I'm saying? But I call it like I see it. I don't sugarcoat nothing. Okay? You're looking cowardly out here. You just are. I gotta call it like I see it. It's unfortunate for me to say that, because, as I've said time and time again on my platform, Beautiful King, Tank Davis is one of the young brothers who culled me back into the sport. Okay, mm-hmm. He was one of the faces that I said, "Oh my God," because I love lefties. I'm a lefty. He's a lefty. A lot of my fighters are southpaw. He was one of the young brothers that I was like, "Oh my goodness, yes, look at him go!" And he's a lefty.
I'm a lefty too. Shit.
I know you a lefty. That's why we rock 10 toes.
You already know.
He was one of the faces, one of the brothers, one of the spirits that called me into the new generation of boxing. You know what I'm saying? So I feel disheartened saying that. But at the same time, I would be remiss to not be honest about, I'm even more disheartened that he doesn't want to claim legacy. I have been disheartened in hearing him say belts don't matter, legacy don't matter, when it's convenient for him. Those types of things, they rattle me to my soul, because one thing I can't stand is cowardice. I can't stand cowardice. So, and seeing Tank Davis, I have so many question marks around him, or have had, because I can't say I'm as invested anymore because of his moves. But throughout the years, yes, up until recently, he has been swarming in question marks for me, and he refuses to get over the line. And then we got conversations about Jake Paul entering into the spectrum. It's just, it's dumbfounding. It's absolutely dumbfounding to me.
Yeah, I will be okay with Tank fighting Jake Paul if Tank was like two fights removed from retirement. I would be okay, because now you're looking at, you don't have no belt. You're Tank Davis, so you don't need a belt, right? You're not holding up the weight class. You're fighting a fighter there and a fighter there, people that nobody's asking for, but you're fighting them because you're just grabbing your last couple of bags, and then you're gonna fight Jake Paul, right? I got no problem with that.
Yes.
But bro, you're in the midst of your prime. You're in the middle of it. If not the middle, you might be towards the tail end of it, but you're still in your prime.
And a belt holder
in your prime. So it's like, bro, you're Floyd Mayweather was like 40 something, almost 40 when he fought like Berto and these guys and stuff like that. When he fought, he was old, bro. He was past it. So you're trying to do this you just turned 30, bro.
Just turned 30.
You're in your prime. You're smack dab right there in your prime, bro. So it's like it doesn't make sense to me why you would look to fight exhibitions in the smack of your prime unless you need money. I mean, I hope Tank ain't broke now where he needs money. I mean, if he's broke and needs the bread, well, listen, bro, I ain't mad at him.
Right.
I'm not mad at him at all, bro. But if you're not broke and it's not a money grab, then hell, it seems to me like you would make more money fighting Shakur or Devin, or maybe knocking out racist Tio. It feels to me like you would make more money fighting them than you would Jake Paul.
Exactly.
And plus, it's less risk because this guy is 200 something pounds, bro. You could get caught with something that you don't see, or get caught with something in general. Getting punched from a 200 something pound man is different from getting punched from a 135 pound guy.
It's different. And then just look at I really can't make the distinction between him and Teofimo Lopez at this point, because he is moving like a rat. You know what I'm saying? You're ready to go jump in the arms of a 200 plus pound man, a heavyweight essentially, instead of fighting Shakur Stevenson, instead of having fought Keyshawn or whoever else is up. You cry, or at least his fans at least are crying about going to 140. He himself, oh, it's too big. I don't feel comfortable over there. Actually, I stand corrected. He was crying about going up to 40. At least when Devin Haney was hovering in that division, right? But you ready to go in front of a 200 pound plus man? I don't care if he's not. He hasn't been boxing as like you since he was 7. This is still a man who is training. This is still a man who is practicing. This is still a man who is, crazy heavier than you. You can put yourself in front of him. Exactly.
Jake Paul is very dangerous for someone like Gervonta because Jake Paul doesn't really know the sport of boxing like that. So if you don't really know the sport of boxing like that, you're going to throw a punch that you shouldn't throw after one. There's moves you're going to move that you shouldn't move because you don't know any better, right? So for him to be that big, 200 something pounds fighting Tank, and they're talking about Jake Paul would move down to 190 to fight him, or 185 or something like that. Yeah, you'll weigh in 185, but that's not what you're going to stay on fight night. On fight night, you're going to be like 195, 200.
Exactly.
And Tank is going to weigh 160, maybe 160, 165. All right. So you got those skills that you have. If someone throws this punch, you're expecting that punch after. Or if someone moves this direction, you're expecting this move after. If you don't get that because Jake Paul is unorthodox because he doesn't know any better, bro, this type of fight that can ruin your damn career. And it's shitty for him to do.
It's shitty for him to do on so many levels. And also, you can't help but to recall all of the banter around people crying about him fighting Devin Haney. And Devin Haney is too big. He's too big of a man. He's massive. Oh my God, little old Tank, he just can't take it. It's too much. And now he's going over to fight a heavyweight. And you don't hear nobody talking or complaining about that shit. Everybody is so quick and leisurely with the parlance. Oh, well, it's a money grab. Yeah, well, he's doing it for the bag. But when it was time to do it for the bag and the legacy against Dev was too big. Dev is the giant. The warped mentality of these people is sickening.
It is. Because I don't understand what's their excuse for Shakur Stevenson. Like, Shakur is in the same weight class. They just completely removed that out the whole scenario. It's like, yeah, you're going to fight Jake Paul for the bag and Devin's too big and blah, blah, blah. Well, what's your excuse for Shakur? Because Shakur he's not out of the weight class. He's still at 135, bro. He's got a belt. He's still at 135. So I don't understand the hesitation or how people manipulate the narrative to try to say, well, he's not going to fight Devin. He's fighting Jake Paul. Well, that's fine. You're not going to fight Devin. You're fighting Jake Paul. But what does Jake Paul have to do anything with Shakur Stevenson? Like, Shakur is right there. And Shakur is a big fight for Tank. He's top 5 big fights, if not top 3 big fights. And that's a huge money fight.
It's a huge money fight. And why not opt for a unification for the first time in your career? If he's crying all this retirement talk, my question is, are you at least going to have some type of credibility? How about you wouldn't want to at least retired as, a unified, having been a unified champion? let's say he retires on December 31st at 11:59 p.m. this December. Would you not want to at least add some significance to your title, unified champion? I mean, something. At least once in your goddamn career, for at least once, if you don't intend to go beyond 2025.
Facts.
This man is playing with the sport, and I don't like it. I really just don't. As much as I have believed in him, as much as I have rocked with him over the years, I have rescinded that support because of things like this. It's not something that I can overlook. It's just not something that I can overlook. I can't help but find it very, very, very questionable, of course, but also cowardly, because I have never supported men who move like this. He is an anomaly for me in boxing. I have not seen this type of character. I'm not saying that there haven't been men who have swerved the other, or politics may have possibly gotten in the way of a particular fight throughout history. Everybody from Sugar Ray Robinson on up to the present. There have been swervings in boxing. You know what I'm saying? There have been politics in boxing and all types of things that have prevented all types of fights that we would have liked to have seen.
Right.
But there was also valor on deck. So that if they didn't get to the one person, they didn't get to everybody on their list. Somebody was getting it on their goddamn list.
Somebody was getting it.
Where the hell was that spirit?
Absolutely getting it. I don't know. I think for me, though, it's more fighters are going to do what fans allow them to do.
Yes.
They're going to do because fans pay their paychecks. So they're going to do whatever they can get away with. I'm more so wondering why fans allow that. That is the mindset. That is the thought process for me that I just haven't been able to grasp. Like, as a fan of the sport of boxing, you're a fan. This is what you like, what you prefer. This is what you want.
Yes.
How are you allowing this, and how are you making or justifying this in any way, shape, or fashion? How is anybody justifying this if you're a fan? Like, you're a fan, bro. Shouldn't you want the fights you want, bro? I don't understand. Like, because I heard everything you say, and what you say makes perfect sense. I just don't understand the fans, though. Because us as the fans, like, it blows my mind that we're not upset at not getting what we're asking for.
Yes.
Like, we have this lackadaisical thought process and approach about protecting something that doesn't even need to be protected. I can understand if he's trying to fight the best, if he's trying to fight the top names, he's trying to do these things, and it's not his fault, right? There's people holding it back, or there's people having. I get that, but these is totally on him. All of this is on him to fight who he wants to fight, and he's got a network who is willing to pay him top dollar for fighting top names.
Yes.
So that I just don't understand how the fans see this and think it is okay, and then are like talking about how he should make more money to fight Lamont Roach in a rematch. Why? We didn't ask him to fight Lamont Roach in the first place. So why would he make more money for the rematch? This doesn't even make any sense to me.
Exactly. And I think a lot of that mindset, Beautiful King, has to do, with these fans. It's about being a fan of a fighter. We hear that so many times, and we've heard that across a lot of, at least the conscious platforms like yours and all the other channels that we love and respect. But it's so true. I hate for it to become a cliche, but the cliche doesn't take away from the fact that it is truth, right? Just because it is said often or referenced often. But these fans, they just accept everything as it pertains to Tank Davis. And I think a lot of that mythology that I was speaking about earlier, where fans could just build a mythology without having proven their stature, their worth, their warriorship. That's the example that I was kind of hovering over when I mentioned that in the preface of our discussion. Is that there's a willingness and a readiness and an alacrity to accept whatever is given face value. There's a shift in dynamic that I definitely agree with you on, where in this particular era, this generation likes to be spoon fed. There is a way that they want to be told something so that they can believe what that thing is because it sounds good. It does not have to be proven that it is good. You tell me it is good. There is a backing, there is an esteem. It looks a particular type of way. It is packaged and pushed a certain type of way, and therefore I believe it. Now, that's just nature, right? We tend to go on. We tend to call that groupthink. It's very popular, I guess. A thing. But and there's nothing wrong with being in heavy support of anything or anyone. You know what I'm saying? Who tickles your fancy, who grabs your attention. You know what I'm saying? Give the support. But my support does not go without reciprocity. Are we the only people on a planet that think like this? The beautiful brothers and sisters here today, I would think so. Yes. Reciprocity is everything to me. I have no problem giving you, but you will earn it. That you will do. Okay? And you best believe that I'm going to be working to earn yours because I like that exchange. I like left hand and right hand. I like equipoise. I like balance.
Yes.
So reciprocity is everything. It is no different from me in boxing. So that my support for a fighter is going to be, wrapped in fire because I'm a fiery person.
Yes.
So that I expect you to meet me with your way to show me your fire is to stand 10 toes in warriorship. That's how you salute me. You can't come at me cold. I don't like nothing cold. And I think that a lot of these movements are just frigid. It's lacking heart. It's lacking spirit. And I think that a lot of the things that are being exposed right now is that coldness of heart. It's that lukewarm heart. These people out here pump faking like they got heart, like they got heat. They're not. They're cold. And so they try to go to the light of people who actually carry light. They leech off of the light of others. That's why I talk about riding waves and making the differentiation between, riding a wave, generating a wave, and simply, clout chasing. Where do we draw the line in boxing right now? Because a lot of things are being misconstrued and diluted. A lot of things are blending in together and being misrepresented and mistaken one for the other. A lot of cold hearts out here acting like they on fire and it's cap. They standing underneath somebody else's heat and acting like they about it.
Facts.
I hate to make that speculation of Tank Davis, but he has yet to prove me otherwise. And until he does that, he will be held there. That's just how I'm coming with that. He got to prove me otherwise. Right now, these moves are not saying, that he is, about that heat, about that smoke.
I mean, that's the way it should be.
I believe in him, but yeah. Go ahead, Ken.
It should be that, though. Like it should be.
It should be
in a gladiator sport. Nobody should be giving anything. Everybody should have to prove what it is that they have to prove they're a gladiator.
Yeah.
You just give them the victory now. You got to go in there. You have to do something. You have to put some work in.
Yeah.
And if people are not realizing that dude hasn't put no work in, well, that's on them, but don't expect me to tag along. I'm not tagging along, bro. I need to see some action. And if you're not putting in work, if you got this diva mentality that you can say and do whatever you want to say and do, and I'm supposed to still just ride along, hey, bro, you're gonna be riding by yourself. I'm not with that. I'm not with that at all. I don't nah, bro. Y'all do that. And y'all run with this weird ass stuff that he could just do whatever he want. Well, there is a part of me that is okay with fighters doing whatever they want. And that part is after you have done everything that we as the fans wanted. Mm-hmm. Once you have done that, And they're like, I will say, I'll give y'all this. There's a fighter. I'll give y'all Terrence Crawford. Now, Terrence Crawford, to me, I feel like there's more that he can do. However, he has fought the top dude in Errol Spence. Right? He did that. Now, I would love for him to fight Jermell Charlo at 54. I would love that, right? But if he doesn't, if he beats Canelo Alvarez, well, I mean, what more would anybody be forcing him to do? Like, honestly, what more would anybody be forcing him? If he beats Canelo Alvarez, then in my humble opinion, I would say you're ready for a Jake Paul. You're ready for fighters like that to get just to roll out to the sunset and get your bags, right? I'm cool with that. I'm not cool with someone who hasn't, you don't have your Errol Spence. Terrence Crawford fought Errol Spence.
Right.
Gervonta has not fought his Errol Spence at all.
Yeah.
At all, bro. He hasn't fought his Errol, bro. He hasn't fought his Leo Santa. Hasn't fought his Leo Santa Cruz, and he fought Leo Santa Cruz. Let that sink in. Because Leo Santa Cruz was Leo Santa Cruz at like 126, 122, 118. That is Leo Santa Cruz. He hasn't even fought that guy yet. And he's got every opportunity to fight those guys when it comes to a Shakur, a Devin, even a weird-ass racist Tio. He's got those, an Abdullah Mason. He's got those, a Floyd Schofield. They're in front of him. All of those fights are in front of him. And the way dude talks and acts, he talks and acts as if he's already did that. And right now, what's in front of him is like retirement. And people run with this. So once again, I don't even blame him. I don't blame him. I don't blame the gladiator. I blame the people who cheer the gladiator on for fighting nobody.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think in the preface, I had touched upon that aspect also of accountability from the onlookers, from the spectators, from the fans, the enthusiasts, diehards, whatever it is that, whatever category one falls under. The accountability is definitely there, because if your money is going to backing, the nonsense, then the nonsense will continue. The nonsense is what you will be given. That's what is going to be pushed in front and center, because there is a demand. There is something called supply and demand. Right. And so if we are demanding that by showing up and giving our support for something that we consider to be of no consequence or something nonsensical, then, regardless of the complaints, it will be given to you, because at the end of the day, the money, the viewership and everything else is going to be given to it. And I think that the accountability definitely rests in a major way in the hands of the public that, that's signing up to support it. You know what I'm saying? At some point, we have to be able to say, okay, well, what is it that we want? And that's why I spoke about the landscape, the current era of boxing, and had mentioned in the preface, the mystique, or let's say the foreplayism, if you will, because I think that's a way for people to understand it, is that people are, there's a playfulness, there is a tantalizing aspect of it to galvanize interest in it, but there is no real need to fully realize what they are doing. And so they will use the attention for the clout. They will use the whatever accreditation or popularity that they have assumed for themselves as a carrot to dangle in front of you. But there's no intention to stand with legacy on that same popularity that they have garnered for themselves. I have no problem with, Tank Davis, being popular and being, herald or whatever the hell that is. I'm just asking him for him, to do that. Wear your crown. That's you earn. Like you said, beautiful king, you cannot be given this. There's some earning that has to be done here as well.
Facts.
How dare you tell me to call you the face of anything, the king of anything? And if you refuse to do your part, I do my part. I go to the fights. I will purchase the fight. I will create the content around you. I will have conversations around my coffee table around, fights. But where is your part? Shouldn't you be meeting me 50-50?
Facts.
You don't get to have this laid in your lap. And sometimes I feel like these fight fans are too easy, because they're so easily swindled and mystified by the perception of, instead of the work ethic of a fighter.
Facts. Absolute facts.
Yeah, exactly. So also, beautiful King, while you were speaking about Terrence Crawford, something came to mind. I figured that it would be a nice way to segue into this. Now, did you see the particular interview that dropped, I believe, last week or the previous week with Terrence Crawford and Canelo sitting with Shaquille O'Neal and Tom Brady and Dana White?
I saw the interview. I didn't see the interview, but I seen it. So I know what you're talking about, but I didn't watch it.
Okay. So in that particular interview, just to give you a summary, basically, well, I don't need to give you a summary of the interview. The really poignant part about that interview was the moment, and it kind of went viral on social media. That's probably what you came across. I wouldn't be surprised. But it's that moment where Canelo was basically saying, who the fuck did Terrence Crawford fight? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I see
like,
that.
who have you fought?
Yeah, I see.
And Canelo outright, interrogated Terrence Crawford, and he said, "Name me one elite fighter that you fought." This is what Canelo said to Bud. Name me one elite fighter that you have faced in your career. And to this damn posit that Canelo made, Bud, instead of, it's so diabolical, beautiful King, he said Victor Postol.
Bugging. This nigga bugging.
Victor Postol was the elite name that Bud answered Canelo with.
Straight bugging.
What?
Straight bugging, bro. This is you hate Errol that much.
Thank you.
It's like, bro, you beat him, you destroyed him, you annihilated him. All those adjectives y'all want to use. You hate him that much that you can't even call this man elite.
Thank you.
That's crazy as hell to me. He's got one loss. The only loss he's got is to you. That's the only loss, bro. Victor Postol's been getting punched on left and right. And I cannot believe this man said Victor Postol. This man be getting annihilated. Bro, Jose Carlos Ramirez beat that man. The dude that Devin just beat.
Whoa.
This dude is bugging, bro. Like you literally, I would have been better off if this man said Hank Lundy. How come this man doesn't talk about Ndongo at all? I don't understand. I don't understand this. No Bud fan talks about Ndongo, bro. Yeah, they act like Ndongo don't exist at all, bro. I'm so confused here. That anytime someone brings up, every time they bring up his top competition, his elite, they don't never bring up Ndongo. I don't understand.
I have heard people try to justify Ndongo on Bud's resume, believe it or not. You'd be surprised.
I haven't heard it, man. I would love somebody to say that. I really would. I would really love somebody to say Ndongo, because to me, that Ndongo was the best competition he fought at 140. As matter of fact, from 140 and below, Ndongo was the best competition he fought.
Right.
From 140 and below.
Also, beautiful King, it doesn't end there. Bud tried to then posit another name, I guess, just to clarify, because maybe he was like, oh, well, let me try to slide in the man named Ricky Burns.
Ricky Burns. Did he say he was elite, or did he just say he fought him?
Elite, beautiful King.
Knock it off.
I swear. This is why the whole shit went viral on social media.
How the fuck is Ricky Burns elite?
And Ricky Burns as the elite fighters on his resume.
Bro, Ndongo beat Ricky Burns. That's where Ndongo got his belts from. Ricky Burns and fucking Edward Trojanowski. That's where he got his belts from.
He said Ricky Burns, beautiful King. And Canelo said Ricky Bones. Who's that? Who's that guy?
Wow, dog. Wow. This nigga said Victor Postol and Ricky Burns.
Ricky Burns.
Burns. Wow, dog. I mean, I'm not sure how Ricky Burns has any type of anything over motherfucking Errol Spence in any way, shape, or fashion, bro. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sure about this at all, motherfucking bro. The people that whipped on his ass is crazy work for you to say this man is elite. Crazy work. Now, if I'm not mistaken, he's never been knocked out. But bro, he's got like motherfucking 10 losses.
Oh my God.
And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say directly after he lost to Terrence Crawford, he lost again directly after that. And then I want to say he lost again, and I know he lost him. I know Ndongo beat him for sure. So for sure, I know Ndongo beat him. So you lost to Ndongo. That's where you lost the damn WBO. I mean the WBA title. The WBA title you lost to Ndongo. So when Terrence Crawford unified, he unified because Ndongo had the IBF and the WBA.
Right.
Bro, this dude is bonkers, bro.
I was sitting back and I'm like, what? Okay, so you're not even going to say Sean Porter. You're not going to say Kell Brook. You know what I'm saying? You said goddamn Postol and Ricky Burns.
Wow.
Of course he wasn't. And what is this? What is this, animosity? What is this vehement resentment that Bud holds for Earl Spence? It's crazy to me.
Well, I don't know. It's the same thing as his fans. His fans are enamored with Errol Spence. That his fans act as if Terrence Crawford hasn't fought nobody else at all. He hasn't fought nobody. And it blows my mind that his fans don't say Ndongo is their best fighter.
At all.
I don't, that blows my mind. To me, Ndongo is his best fighter, but Ndongo wasn't shit. The same way that I'll tell you that George Kambosos wasn't shit.
Right.
I'll tell you the same exact thing. But, mysteriously, the Bud fans they're one-sided on these things, which is wild to me, as I'm not necessarily sure why they're one-sided on this. Victor Postol is not good at all. He's not good. Victor Postol was never like that. Victor Postol got punched on by everybody he was fighting, except for one fighter, which made him. One fighter that he beat, and Lucas Matisse, made him. Now all of a sudden they call him the killer, but Lucas Matisse had got destroyed by Danny Garcia already.
Crazy work.
And Terrence Crawford didn't fight Lucas Matisse, and he could have fought Lucas Matisse at 140. But that's a whole different story itself. It just blows my mind that this guy him and his fans have this thing. They have this thing that they just, I don't know what it is with Errol. I don't know.
It's insidious. It's weird. It's awkward. It's odd, and everything else, Beautiful King. I really don't understand it. And I sat down. Actually, I have been thinking about this for quite some time. Really, not too long after the fight had materialized between Bud and EJ. And, in the midst of seeing him on his parade, celebrating for 40 days and 40 nights after that Earl Spence Jr. victory, I had begun thinking, well, who else did he celebrate so thoroughly a victory over in his career? Nobody.
Well,
nobody.
Because he doesn't have anybody on his resume.
Well, there we go. I mean, if EJ wasn't shit, that sure was a hell of a victory goddamn lap he was doing after he beat him. I saw no parade or street named after him when he beat Ndongo. I saw no parade or street named after him when he beat Postol or Burns. Not even when he beat Kell or Porter. But all of these things were certainly amassed after he dethroned the number one king at 147, and rightfully so. You dethroned the king. I'm not hating on you. You went in there, you did what you had to do.
Did what you had to do.
But I think that a part of his need to rescind, giving credibility to EJ has to do with the fact that within his mind, within his mind's eye, something in him knew what of course later became known to us, in the outside of the, boxing spectrum, he already knew that something had hindered EJ from being at 100%. Now we could speculate about that, all types of, things like that, but there are boxing insiders who have stated and given credence to the notion that Errol Spence was not at his 100% capacity. Due to whatever reason that you want to name, there were factors at play in that fight that did not allow for EJ to be at the 100% that we know him to be. Now, I know a lot of people for the past 2 years want to push that off as an excuse. It is what the fuck it is.
Well, even Derek James said it. So
thank you.
It's
like, yeah.
I think it is what it is, though. Just like you said, it is what it is.
Yes, King. I think that a part of Bud's refusal to accept that claim, even though he is in his number one pound for pound position because of fighting EJ, even though he is considered the best fighter in the world because of his defeat of EJ, and all of this popularity that he's assumed is because of EJ. I think that he is resentful of that. And I think he's also harboring I want to say guilt would be the word, for having won that fight, but not having, he doesn't have the leisure of saying, I beat you at your best. And I think that messes with him subconsciously.
I believe so too. I believe that thought process of not fighting him at his best is the reason why he won't say the elite fighter that I beat was Errol Spence.
Exactly.
Because he knows that when you say that, people are going to say, oh, Errol had a car accident and an eye injury, which is why he doesn't bring up Errol Spence, because he knows he didn't beat Errol at his best. And now, to me, I'm not giving any excuse with nothing. I'm not giving nothing with if you beat Errol, Errol got in there and fought. Errol was good enough to fight. If Errol would have won, he'd have been good enough to win. He lost, so he's good enough to lose. That's how I look at it. Now I know what I know, but in the reality of it is, bro, you got in there and fought, bro.
Exactly.
So you got in there and fought. You did what you had to do, but it's not what I'm saying. It's what Bud says that makes me know. Yes, it's what Bud says that makes me know that Bud does not believe that, because every single time that someone says is Errol Spence a Hall of Famer? No, he ain't. Hell no. You're shitting on your own. You're shitting on yourself. Who's the elite fighter you fought? Victor Postal. Bro, you're shitting on yourself. The biggest name you beat. This is a no-brainer. Everybody knows this. The biggest guy you beat is Errol Spence. That is the biggest guy, bro. There is nobody that you fought on Errol Spence's level at all.
Period.
So every time you say who's the elite guy you beat, bro, this should be a non-brainer. It's Errol Spence, bro. You annihilated Errol Spence, and that's what it should be. There is no Victor Postal, bro. Victor Postal, what did he do? He has done nothing, bro. He fought at one weight class, 140, and that is it. He was never unified. He was never undisputed. He was never nothing. His claim to fame is beating Lucas Matisse. That's it, from one weight class. He didn't fight at 26 and 30 and 35. No, Victor Postal fought at 140, and that's it. That's it. But yet you'll have people that are running through this motherfucker saying a whole bunch of things because they don't know what the hell they're talking about at all. But if you start talking about Errol Spence was not himself, everybody they got plenty to say then.
Exactly.
Plenty to say then. Here you go. Here we go with this, and here we go with that, and here's this, and here is that, and here's this. Listen. Bro.
So if he beat him at his best, why is Bud denying giving him the credit that he is owed? Was he not the 147-pound king? Was he not the 3-belt holder in the division?
He had all that.
Did he beat him? You can't have it both ways. Did he beat him at his best, or were there obstacles along the path? Because if he beat him at his best, then there's no reason why Bud should be refraining from calling him the best that he beat. You beat him. That is something that you should claim.
Hell yeah.
Away from the heads that I claim. If I chop somebody's head off, I'm putting that shit on a steak.
Especially a big one. Especially the big one. The big one, the top dogs.
Yes,
bro, if I beat the top dogs, that's all I'm talking about. Who I beat is the top dogs. I'm not bringing up these motherfuckers from 135, bro.
Thank
I'm not
you.
bringing up motherfuckers from. I'm fighting at 68. Why am I bringing up? Why am I saying the elite guy I fought was at 140?
Thank you.
I'm fighting at 68, bro.
68.
Straight
68.
bugging. Absolutely bugging.
There's absolutely no getting around the fact that Earl Spence Jr. was his biggest win. And it's absolutely bizarre to me that he is willing to sacrifice his own credibility as a fighter. He is willing to smite his own resume rather than name EJ as his greatest victory. It's crazy to me. It's crazy and it's bizarre and it's a warped, mentality. I've never seen anything like that. A fighter refraining from claiming their biggest victory? Who does that?
Somebody that knows that he wasn't at his best when he beat him.
There we go. There we go.
And he doesn't want to say that. He doesn't want to say that because he knows when you bring up Errol Spence, they're going to start talking about the car accident and the injury. And
I also posit, beautiful king, that they are also going to start talking about the rematch.
The rematch.
That's something that he obviously did not want.
Yep, the rematch.
He did not want to meet EJ at a healthy 154, at a healed up whatever version of himself. For whatever reason, the negotiations dematerialized, but he was very adamant about not giving EJ that rematch.
Very true.
On the table. Interesting stuff, yo.
Very true. All true facts.
Interesting stuff. Now, if we can, since we're talking about legacy and at least the fact that EJ and Crawford fought his EJ, right? Compared to these fighters who are refraining from the men who are considered to be of notable competition. Let's get into the young king, Devin Haney, who it's been confirmed that the fight with Brian Norman is taking place today. I think that you revealed the news first, beautiful king, on your live here this afternoon. You dropped the news, and then everybody followed suit after you, as tends to be the case. Yeah, so we finally have that fight. We finally got a live fish on the hook, beautiful king. How long have you been waiting? We have been kind of in turmoil since Devin Haney dropped that hit list. People have been like ducking in the shadows, hiding underneath the carpets, hiding in people's closets. What's been going on? We finally got a fish on the hook, it seems, beautiful king. What you think about that?
Oh man, yeah, this is a testament to Devin and Brian. This is a testament to both of them wanting this fight. This is a testament to two guys that believe in themselves. Yes. Two kings, they believe in themselves. It's a testament that proves to you guys that the business of boxing excuse is bullshit, because this fight literally was a week and a half from start to finish.
Wow.
So all that stuff about it takes so long and behind the scenes and all this shit that y'all be saying, blah, 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 yada, yada, y'all full of shit. And this fight proved it. A week and a half, bro, because 2 weeks ago, Trail Bill was talking about Richard Hitchens. Richard Hitchens was the guy that they was after. Richard Hitchens was the guy that ducked. And then a week, not even a full 2 weeks, not even a week and a half later, it a couple days after Richard Hitchens, it switched to Brian Norman, and it switched to Brian Norman straight on over, and now here we have a fight.
Yes.
So this is just a testament to both of those kings that actually wanted it. It's a testament to prove, well, I say it again, to prove that the business of boxing does not take this long. It's a testament to prove that if two fighters want to fight, they'll fight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am so ecstatic about this fight's materialization. I think it's wonderful. I think it's full of excitement. I think it's going to represent for the culture. And I really do think that it is ushering in a wave of change, because I'm riding on the theme of a wave. I think that this is one wave that is being created in boxing that stands to absolutely demolish all the talk, all the doubters, all the nonsense, and all of the stale energy that we have been seeing in boxing. This is one wave that is going to dispel all of that. This is a tidal wave in the boxing world. Do you hear me? A tidal wave.
It's there.
The magnitude of this fight, excuse me, two beautiful FBA, beautiful, Black elite warriors. Excuse me.
Yep.
The boxing world needs this, y'all. I was so on the edge of my seat, in the last couple of weeks leading up to this fight. We were hearing rumors about the fight, being canceled and pulled, no longer wanted by Turkey. I heard the King Tay Jones on Chapside's channel saying that, it's Turkey doesn't want the fight. And then, of course, we saw the post of the manager, supposedly, of Brian Norman saying, maybe I'm being punked, but I'm told that the fight is off. And all this yo-yoing and back and forth that we've been hearing, but all the while, I can't front, Bill and Devin Haney never seemed to, flinch at the reality that they wanted the fight. That's one thing that kind of kept me in the game, was that, it's like, listen, we want the fight. It's not on us. We already did our part. It's not on us. You know what I'm saying? We here for the fight. So whatever the Normans had to go ahead and go convene on, I'm glad that they handled it on their end, because I would have been devastated to see, any type of copping out or any type of duckery that we've gotten from the likes of people who already backed out, who were, mentioned on Devin Haney's hit list. We already had Ryan Garcia tuck his tail and run. We already had Teofimo tuck his tail and run. Okay? We already had Javante Davis looking to the left on his Beyonce shit, not even trying to address the fact that he was on the hit list. We already heard Shakur Stevenson not mention a damn thing about being on Devin Haney's hit list. And of course, as you mentioned, Beautiful King, we already had the honorable mention of that hit list, who was Richardson Hitchens.
Yep.
Play tic-tac-toe with the public, play tic-tac-toe with Bill, who ran up on him, and even the younger brother of Devin, Sean, running up on him. You know what I'm saying? So it's wonderful. It's wonderful that not only do we have a fish on the hook, but we have somebody who is a champion, arguably the king. I can't say that there isn't anything to argue now, since Boots is officially making his way out. Ryan Norman, to me, would be considered the king of 147 right now, or the most notable king and champion of 147 right now. So the fact that, get this, Devin Haney is going to be making his official 147. Of course, he's fought at, between 141 and 144, I believe, against Ramirez. Yep. So against Bree Norman, he is going to officially be weighing in, I'm assuming, at 147.
Correct.
This to be his first fight there. And in his first official weighing in at 147, who is he fighting?
The biggest puncher in the weight class.
The WBO champion. Put some goddamn respect on Devin Haney's name.
They won't.
These people got to stop playing with me.
Yeah, they won't. They won't respect it.
Some suckers. This man's first debut officially at 147 to happen in November against the WBO champion, the Big Stepper, the man who just put the hush over the boxing world with a knockout.
Yep, that guy.
That's who his first official fight at 147 is going to be against, and y'all still out here clowning like this man ain't stepping? Y'all are bugging. What the hell more do you want? When I talk about waves and generating a wave, there's a difference between riding a wave and generating one. Devin is out here creating the wave. What? Miss me with the nonsense.
All facts.
Straight up and down facts, Beautiful King. These people are scared to death of this young king. Absolutely scared to death. How was it also that within a matter of a week or two, Devin Haney managed to announce a fight after only being barely 2 months removed from a fight that he just had in May? Within a week of negotiation, you know what I'm saying? He was able to solidify a deal, and Tank Davis, who had been knowing that there was going to be a possibility of the rematch since goddamn March, hasn't announced nothing yet, and his fight is a month away.
That's a great ass question.
How is Devin Haney ahead of the goddamn curve like this, you guys? He was trying to make the Ryan Garcia fight. He was trying to make the Teo fight. He wasn't looking at Brian Norman as of now. Yes, he was on the hit list, but he wasn't even, surmising the fact that this would be next. He was trying to beat Ryan or Teo.
Facts.
How the hell did he manage to set a fight date? And Tank ain't. We still waiting on a confirmation that his rematch is going to happen. Devin Haney is miles ahead.
Been that.
Been that on every level. That's why these people out here hating so badly, because they can't keep up with the king. Tell your favorite fighters to catch up. It's different with Devin Haney. It's different with Bill Haney. It's different with all of DHP. Okay? That's why the hate is so immense for these brothers. It's wonderful to see what is on the horizon for these men. And you know what else, beautiful king, that I wanted to touch on is the aspect of, because the Haneys are stepping so tough, so 10 toes like this. I have been hearing so many people, of course, before today's confirmation that the fight is on. I have been hearing so many cowardly people pushing the idea that all of a sudden Devin Haney should not be trying to attain greatness. They are saying, instead of Devin Haney jumping in the deep end of that ocean and proving that he's a shark, what he should instead be doing is being afraid of Brian Norman. He should not. Oh, you got to be careful now. You're here. Oh, Brian Norman's name. Did you see that knockout? Oh, the man couldn't remember his mama's name. All of the fear mongering that is going on in the boxing world, instead of saluting this young king for saying, yo, yeah, I saw what you did, and try it on me. I had you on the hit list before your knockout. I had you on the hit list before the world started glazing you.
Facts.
Where's that conversation? He didn't wait until the aftermath to clout chase or wave ride Brian Norman's knockout. He was on there already. Top 5, by the way, on his hit list. Top 5. Before his newfound claim to fame these past couple of weeks. He'd been on there. Where's the people's salutation to that? It's crazy work to me. Y'all got to put some respect on Haney's name, and if you don't, you're going to learn how to. Because not everybody loved Muhammad Ali when he was in action either.
Facts.
Not everybody was calling Floyd TBE when he was in action either. Facts. Y'all got to catch up. Y'all a little slow. It takes y'all a couple of decades to learn who the masters are, and then when they show and prove 10 years later, your slow ass catching up on the goddamn yellow bus, then you out here telling your kids and grandkids, oh, in my day, I used to love him. He was a great man. And y'all ain't show him no love, no respect.
Facts.
10 toes in front of you pussies.
All facts.
Can't stand that mindset. Y'all gonna find out about Devin Haney as well. And any other black, beautiful king who stands to follow the line and pathway of real legacy out here. Not diva time, but real legacies. Y'all gonna learn. If it's not today, you will. Because y'all always catch up at some point. You slow as hell, but you wind up getting there eventually. Everybody was on Malcolm's the beautiful brother and King, Malcolm X's time either. They had to catch up to him. They had to catch up to Dr. King. They had to catch up to Kwame Ture. They had to catch up to all of these great people. Late to the party. And they want to ride the bandwagon when the history is made and solidified.
Facts. All facts.
Isn't that crazy, beautiful king? Ain't that crazy?
Unbelievable.
Go ahead.
It's just unreal when you look at it for what it is. It's unreal.
Absolutely unreal. Unreal. And I'm so glad of the steadfastness of the young King Devin Haney. A lot of people don't understand this type of passion, beautiful king. A lot of people don't understand this type of passion. But, it is not simply because, we ride in the idea of, they just, you want to support your black fighters. You goddamn right. I want to support my black fighters. 1000%. Especially the ones who show valor and heart. I salute that 10 toes. That's something that I respect because it inspires me. And I don't shine from light. I bloom in it. I bloom in it. So when I see radiance, I lean towards it. That's what I do. And I try to add my own to the equation. You got to salute what is worthy of salutation. I don't like a lot of the dialogue that seeks to shun and diminish that young king's radiance. And any beautiful brothers who is a warrior and showing that level of valor, I don't like the diminishment of that radiance. You know what I'm saying? The Haneys are not a special case. They are just among, a legacy of beautiful Black brothers who are unflinching in their desires to do what they love. That's it. To do what they love. When I talk about that heat and that flame, they are not cold. They are plenty hot. They are on fire spiritually. Because this is what they chose and this is the path that chose them. And they just want to show, listen, I'm made for this. I want to compete with the best. You cannot tell me that there isn't a possibility in boxing that one may come up short or whatever have you. This is boxing. This is the game that we call boxing. But that does not mean that I don't belong in the center of the battlefield.
All facts.
Just because there's an opportunity that I may quote unquote lose. Who the fuck cares? I'm made for this. Whatever happens, happens because I chose it. That's the cowardly mentality that's been going around, beautiful king. That is absolutely revolting to me. Oh, you shouldn't try. Oh, well, he should stay. You should hear the conversation. I'm sure you have on your page. You should, stay away now. Don't you go jumping off the deep end. He may be dangerous. Oh, he should just stay away from Brian. For what? Like you say time and time again, beautiful king, on your page. Devin and all of these other warriors out here with the real warrior heart are just looking at these fighters like other men. It's like,
just
all right.
Other people. Yep. Just other people.
There's no fandom around them. Okay, you want to get busy? Sign me up. Let's get it cracking. Let's pop it. Are we not supposed to be thinking this as warriors? Yes, we should be. Line them up and bring them here. What time you ready? These cowardly fans tend to project that mentality onto these fighters. And I think a lot of the times the mentality, because it becomes popular on, depending on these different types of platforms, especially the ones that have steam, pushing this nonsense, these fighters check into that. And then I think that they begin to be inculcated by that mentality. They start to, take that mentality on. And that's why you start to see, little moods of, deep in the, I'm going to duck this person. I'm going to try to swerve around this person or whatever have you, because the general narrative is maybe putting out there that they should be, maybe avoiding. I don't know to what extent or to what degree, the fanfare or the dialogue, of the boxing, let's say, fan landscape, impacts or influences these fighters. But I'm sure, these fighters, they look in and they keep in touch with what is going on. They are human beings too, so I wouldn't put it past them that they hear these things and maybe take little sips of that type of dialogue and take it on as in their perspective.
Facts.
But I think that we should be pushing our fighters to stand on that type of code. We should be pushing them. Do not ever tell a fighter to turn away from another. Excuse me? You are not, we are talking two different languages. I don't tell nobody to sit down from nothing. If that's where they want to be, if that's where they're trying to go, you know what I'm saying? And it's for, something of worth and valor and importance to them and esteem to them, go forth. I'm not going to sit you down. I'm going to be the wind to your fire. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ignite you every time. If I support you, what else should I be doing? How the hell am I supporting you and telling you to sit down, don't try at the same time? What's going on here? It's a fragile mentality. It's a sick mentality, and it's disgusting to see it parading around in the sport. So many people, so many platforms, across social media are having that type of, conversation. Oh, is Devin Haney shell shocked? Is he having PTSD? He can't even, he was swarming around Ramirez. How is he going to stand in front of Brian Norman? Well, sit the fuck down and find out. Just sit back with some popcorn and watch the show.
Because we about to see.
He shouldn't be out there, attempting his greatness. They say it for everybody else, but when it's time for Devin Haney to show and prove, they don't want him attempting greatness. Go ahead, King.
He's about to. You got some super chats, Queen.
I have some super chats. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you got a bunch. Go.
How do I check that, beautiful king?
So you'll see right here in the back. In the back, you see you're on the comments at the you'll see a number that says 9, starred 9.
Starred. Oh, okay.
Click that, and then you can click on the super. You can click them so you can call them all out.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we got some super chats that came in. Thank you, beautiful King, for letting me know. Salute to the King Freedom with the super chat, showing love as always. 10 toes. What's up, King Freedom? He says, make sure y'all go to SugarFree Mars channel and sub there. If you ain't done so, salute. Thank you, beautiful King Freedom. I appreciate it. Salute to the Earthman in the building. He says she may smile, but it's never sweet. Queen, infinite love. BFTB, the homie. Big facts, fool ass Earthman on deck. Salute to you. Thank you for always showing love, as always. And we've got the Villager brother on deck as well with the love. He says, much love for the cook. Fire. Thank you, King. I appreciate your support today. Salute to the King, John Smith, my brother. What's up to my comrade, John Smith, in the building? He says, salute to SugarFree and my nigga BF. Respect is here. Big facts, King John. Oh, he doubled up in the super chat. The King John Smith says, SugarFree, your input is very important. When I hear you talk, I listen. Okay, King, I'm on deck for that. I appreciate your support. And I'm always happy to cook on his boxing stuff that we love. You already know it's 10 toes. Oh my goodness, he done tripled up in the super chat. The King John Smith says, these are the conversations that other platforms are scared to talk about. 1000%, I agree. But the real ones, it only takes a few to ever make the change. And we got a few real ones out here holding it down, including the beautiful King, BFTB, among all the other brothers and sisters that we love. Salute to Abdul Anwar in the building. He says, Budrick is tarnishing his own legacy. That's crazy. Absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. It's weird what he is doing and what he continues to do. Very, very strange. And we got Jay Pitt. Oh, I think that's Jay Pitt City. Your name is changed up, King. In the super chat as well, he says, question, is it a duck and cheese sandwich from the F Hitchens if he fights anyone other than Ant, T.O., or Subriel? I'm trying to see something. Okay, so you said, is it a duck and cheese sandwich from Hitchens? If he fights anyone other than Antoine Russell's T.O. or Subriel. Absolutely. But that doesn't mean Devin shouldn't have been in the pot as well. You know what I'm saying? You could fight Devin too. But I think that Devin said he wanted it at 147. But a duck is a duck is a duck, in other words. Oh my goodness, we got the King 78 Sports TV, the general in the building. That's Peace family. I don't want to hear Tank fans talk about who nobody should be fighting. That's like a musty person talking. That's like a musty person talking about it Tank in here. Or Stank in here, whichever you prefer, beautiful King 78. Facts. I agree with you 1000%. Oh, Abdul Anwar is back in the super chat. He says, for Devin, chasing greatness is clout chasing. Watch how many people that hated Brian Norman over the boot situation is his biggest fans now. Oh, trust me, I wanted to get into that next, actually. Wonderful point that you made. It's actually a huge point that I wanted to make next with the beautiful King BFTB. Beautiful King.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think about this sudden, these Johnny come lately Brian Norman fans? Not that the King does not deserve every bit of new fan that he can get, because of course, he's a really good fighter, and I'm glad that he's amassing a level of popularity, right? But I'm talking about the Johnny come lately ass fans riding a bandwagon simply because this is an opponent that Devin Haney is going to be fighting. What do you think about that, King?
Well, I mean, at this point, I'm very, very used to those type of people. I'm very, very used to them. They don't necessarily have any interest in the sport of boxing. They don't have any interest in that at all. They are what you said earlier. They're man fans.
Yes.
And if it's in favor of the man they're fanning, then they're fine with it. But when it's not in the favor of the man they're fanning, then they have to find some type of issue with it. Now, in this case, what they're doing is they hate Devin so much. Their man fandom is with the people that are Devin's ops. That's where their man fandom is. They hate Devin so much
Yes.
that they would prefer to be a fan of people they have no idea who it is. Like these people have been telling me over and over and over again, bro, Lomachenko, I can't wait till Devin fights Loma so Loma can knock Devin out, make him quit. And I can't wait till this guy fights Devin so Devin can get beat up. I can't wait till that guy fights Devin so Devin can get beat up. They've been telling me this now over and over and over again. Just today, this dude who is a tankomaniac clicked the link, and I'm gonna talk to him real tough, real dirty, because he a dirtball person.
Wow.
But this dude said today that he can't wait for Brian Norman to get knocked out. I mean, for Devin Haney to get knocked out by Brian Norman.
Wow.
Like, what is it that Devin has done to anybody that will make anybody think anything or believe any or say anything like that?
Crazy.
It just doesn't make sense to me. But I understand, like I said, they're man fans. They're not boxing fans. They're not fans of the sport. They're man fans. And
Yes.
if they can't praise their man for doing something, then they'll shit on their man's ops for doing something. And it's just that simple. And they're both one and the same thing. You're either going to shit on the Tank's ops or Shakur's ops or Teal's ops. You're going to shit on them, right, to praise and glaze, or you're just going to outright disrespect Devin to praise and glaze. It's one of the two. And at this particular moment, they don't have anything to praise and glaze Tank for or anybody else. So they're just finding a reason to shit on Devin, and in order to shit on Devin, they just became Brian Norman fans.
Exactly. Absolutely. Exactly. That's exactly the case. And it's weird, to see. It's like, nobody was this man, having a parade behind him of people 1 month ago? Absolutely not. Not to this degree. But ever since Devin Haney came in the equation, you know what I'm saying? And he stood to be a potential adversary to Devin. Now all of a sudden he has all of these Johnny come lately ass, people.
Facts.
It's strange as hell. And like I said, any level of attention, as far as it's being genuine, for Brian Norman, of course, he just had a performance that, caught, the people by surprise and put him on, a lot of people's radar. Wonderful stuff. Yes, let him amass that level of credibility for his performance. You know what I'm saying? But the fake love, if you will, is absolutely diabolical to me, because, like you said, all of these people really just want to see if he will be the one to dethrone, somebody that they have been waiting, patiently to see compromised. Facts. Once again. You know what Facts. I'm saying? Ryan Garcia could not pull that off completely. You know what I'm saying? He satiated a lot of people's palates with his drug cheating, and he satiated a lot of people's palates with the visual of, putting Devin in a compromising position in that fight, seeing Devin for the first and only time touch the canvas in his career. A lot of people were satiated by those visuals. They were satisfied by the palate was quelled with what Ryan Garcia did with his cheating. But of course, that did not last. He was found to be a drug cheat, and of course, ultimately, it was ruled a no contest, and they effaced the defeat from his resume, right? And so it was quelled and satiated, but not really totally to its fullest extent. They want to back and support now Brian Norman and the possibility that he may be the one to fully satisfy and gratify that what do you call that? There's a word that I used in the past. Fetish. It's a fetish. They want to fetishize over the defeat of Devin Haney. It is a fetish, beautiful king. And they want to see now if Brian Norman can be the one to do that. And a lot of people are leeching on to his newfound attention based off of that. They're going to hang around as long as as long as he stands to be the one to hold the possibility of being the one to satisfy the fetish of compromising Devin. And because he's coming in with this knockout power that he is, known to have, of course, among the real boxing fans who have already known of Brian Norman. But of course, now, ever since being put on the map by that performance and the devastating knockout he put out, they are saying, okay, well, now he is coming with this particular type of power. Oh, surely he's going to be the one to put Devin down, right? That's what people are saying. He's going to be the one to do it. Let me go ahead and leech off of this. It has nothing to do with the spectacular fighter that Brian Norman stands to be. It has nothing to do with the beautiful relationship that he has with his father. Nothing. All of these people, they only care about the possibility at hand. Oh, can he put Devin down? It's weird. It's weird as hell.
All facts. It's 100% all facts. It's a very, very weird dichotomy. It's a very, very weird situation where people prefer to not enjoy a fighter because the fighter is a good fighter. They prefer to use that fighter,
yes,
because that fighter is fighting somebody else.
Yes.
Now, the crazy part about that situation is they trash fighters over and over again just for losing.
Exactly.
Yet you will praise these guys. You'll praise these guys that don't fight anybody. And then shit, man, it's a weird ass dichotomy. These guys don't fight nobody. They don't fight anybody and get praise and glaze. Yet Devin goes out there and puts on and is about to put on yet again when these guys haven't fought nobody. Devin has already fought 3 different weight classes. This will be now the Lomachenko was number 1. George Kambosos was number 1. Regis Porter was number 1. And now he's about to fight Brian Norman, who is currently the number 1 at welterweight.
Exactly.
This is the 4th number 1 he's about to fight. The 4th.
Wow. Wow. And when he made his debut at 140, same thing. You know what I'm saying? Regis was the champ, went in there.
Number 1.
And now he is exactly top of the top. Top of the top, absolute facts. And these are, this type of mindset is trying to, they're trying to dilute the importance and the savagery, real talk, of this move on Devin Haney and how he repeatedly sets the standard.
Facts.
That's the standard. And these people are, vastly intimidated by him because there is a failure to keep up with the pace that he is setting, with the tone that he is setting. It's weird. Like I said, this generation of boxing media and, of course, boxing spectators, there is something in the minds that is, in fear, in absolute fear of having, somebody take the reins of Floyd Mayweather. There is a fear of passing the torch. And I think that because Devin Haney is very much in line, more than in line, he stands to be, the next one that takes the torch and passes it on to the new generation. People fear that because he is not subpar. He is not mediocre. You know what I'm saying? He is very much old school. He wears that old spirit. You know what I'm saying? There is a fear of that.
Facts.
And it's very strange for a sport that is based on valor. It's very weird when this is a sport where all the talk and the dialogue, mentions the great warriors. So why wouldn't you want that legacy to persist in the new generation? I think I mentioned this when I was on your live stream the other day, Beautiful Game. When are the elders, afraid to pass on the fire to the youth who's supposed to run tomorrow?
What a great question.
How the fuck is that a fucking thing now?
What a great question.
It's the type of era we've entered into, Beautiful King.
Yeah, it's people don't want to let go of nothing.
Nothing.
Like, bro, you got to eventually let go of everything because from once you came is where you're going to return. And I'm sitting here looking at these guys like, bro, like what in the hell, bro?
Yes.
Like what in the hell? Let the young ones shine. Give them the guidance, say, for the things the faults that you made so they don't repeat them. Nowadays, these people don't say anything. They're just letting people just repeat the same nonsense faults, the same issues. Just let them, hey, not my life. Just let him do his thing. Yeah, but if you respect him, then you can at least give him the guidance so that if he sees himself going down that path, whatever, man. It's just whatever. These people are weird to me. They're really, really weird to me.
1000%. And I think also what I wanted to end on with you, beautiful King, speaking about the new generation with Devin Haney, of course, I wanted to end on the beautiful bronze bomber, the King Deontay Wilder. Of course, he had his victory.
Yeah.
And he is, a general. He is a senior in the sport. You know what I'm saying? He is a veteran. He is a king of experience and stature in the sport. And
OG.
A straight up OG. And there are very few people, in the sport who have held us down the way the beautiful King Wilder has. So it's wonderful to go from speaking about the future of Devin Haney to the current and somebody who is going to pass that type of heat and the legacy of the heat that he upheld in the sport, like Deontay Wilder. So what did you think about his victory against Tyrell Hearn?
I didn't even break this fight down yet, but because I watched it and I didn't even break it down yet. Like what I liked is he looked like he's on the road and return to himself. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
It looked like I saw a lot of things in there that I was very, very pleased to see, because I am one of the ones that whatever he wants to do, I'm with it. Like if you would have told me, like before this fight, if you would have asked me what I wanted, man, I want him to enjoy his babies and enjoy his life. He's done enough. That's what I want. That's what I would have said. But because I didn't want people to just be fighting him just to put his name on their resume, right? But after watching how he fought, after watching the movement, after watching the jab and sticking consistent with the jab and throwing the 1-2s, and man, after watching that, I am very, very optimistic, very, very optimistic that he can actually accomplish his goal of fighting one of these top names and getting a unified title. And I think that's what drives him, is being unified. And I think if he gets an opportunity to fight a Daniel Dubois or even Joe Parker, if Joe Parker gets an opportunity to win the titles, if Deontay gets an opportunity to rematch Joseph Parker, I truly believe the Deontay that I saw is more of the Deontay that's the bronze bomber. Like before this, I saw a lot of tricks and stuff like that Malik was implementing, and no beef with Malik. I ain't got no problem. But the thing about it is, when you have certain fighters, you can't teach them and train them all the same way. Right. And if you do teach them and train them the same way, you then have to give each one their own time to their special individual ability, whether it's a big right hand or a big left or an uppercut or something like that, right? Or body shots. If that's what they're great at, then you can train everybody the same, but then you have to give them their own individual physical, not your own individual training, right? Their own individual for their physical characteristic that separates them, because you don't want to get that lost. And for me, it seemed like that was getting lost under Malik, right? It seemed like that was getting lost under him. And what I just saw, I'm very optimistic. That looked really, really good to me, right? And even Champ said it after the fight that he's got rust on him, and I can see the rust. But for him to fight this guy and to do what he did to this guy, I'm pleased at what he'll do to the next guy. I'm very, very pleased. And this right here, I was nervous, bro. I was nervous for this fight. I believe in Champ, I do, but I also know that this is a heavyweight division, you can't play this. If your mind isn't all the way in it, then somebody's going to take your mind out of you. Mm-hmm. So I was really, really happy with his jab. I was really, really happy with his movement. It wasn't too much and it wasn't too little. It was like the sweet spot. I was great. I love the fact that he took his head off the line. And if ever dude got close to him, he wanted to clinch, he would lean on him, which is
Yes.
that removes your any chance of anybody hitting you. The only person that's going to hit you if you do that would be the ref. If the ref might steal on you, but other than that, nobody's hitting you when you do that. So I love that he was doing that.
Yeah.
I really, really like that. It took everything out of the kill zone, and there was nothing that old boy can do. And I was very, very pleased.
Yes, beautiful King. I 100% agree with what you said, and I think that was absolutely the case for me. I was instantly, you know, relishing in the fact that from the outset of the fight, we saw that jab working. Okay, he got that jab out and moving, and it was in his face, and it was accurate, and he was keeping the distance, and he was setting up his little hooks that he was trying to throw. Sometimes he would miss, but I was just happy and elated to see that he was trying to set them up and not just throw. It was wonderful to see that. I thought he had a lot of good attributes that I did not see in his last, let's say, 2 fights. I think that a lot of the criticism that I've been seeing here and there on social media is definitely unwarranted, because what I don't like is how people tend to, throw in, or let's say bask in, the idea of a particular fighter taking a tune-up before a fight, but other fighters are not allowed to do the same thing and have an adjustment period or a readjustment period. I did not like how I was hearing people say, "Oh, well, he should have, this is, a bum that he fought," trying to diminish the credibility of the fighter that he fought, or just diminish the fact that, this is his first fight back in general. There is an acclimation period, especially after having gone through the things that the brother Wilder had dealt with inside and outside of the ring. He made it no secret at all that there was a particular point, as far as the matters getting a little bit more on the personal side, where he had lost a luster for boxing, where he had lost a little bit of a flame and started to question things, because he wanted to realign and reassert who he was as a man, what he wanted spiritually. Just doing self-reconnaissance, in other words. So, he had to figure that out for himself. And I really enjoyed, I think I shared this in the little commentary I did on the day of the fight, that, he did not look at the Joseph Parker or Zhilei Zhang fight as, a means of, being an impasse or a blockade to his progress. This fight actually helped him review himself. Okay, those fights actually made him sit down and say, okay, well, let me address some things with me personally that I had been letting lingering for years. Of course, one being the major thing, which was the shoulder injury that he had been having for so long. He finally had gotten that addressed. And all of these types of things came off of the backs of those 2 particular fights with Zhang and Parker. So, he used his experiences, in other words, to realign and reset the trajectory that he wanted to set out on for himself. You know what I'm saying? And I like that he wasn't afraid to talk about that. I like that he was candid about that. I like that he was like, yeah, I was in question about this. Yes, I, had lost my confidence, in his words, in certain ways. You know what I'm saying? But, I have a flame and I'm not done yet. And there's still things that I want to prove for myself. I love the fact that he said that he wanted to act more selfishly now. He is no longer interested in, operating so much on the behalf of the people outside, of his desires. I guess whether that meant people that he had close to him, or people within the business of boxing, or whatever have you, but that he is now internalizing his purpose as a fighter, as he comes to the end of his career. He wants to do it his way. And I think that's a wonderful thing. And I think that I saw a readiness. He looked more alert in this fight against Herndon. He looked like, he wasn't as dazed. I don't know. In the previous fight, there was a sense of not being able to see where he was in the other fights. Where in this fight, I saw a level of clarity in his eyes. He wanted to get the job done. You know what I'm saying? There was obviously an effective game plan at work that he believed in, and he stepped and he operated according to that. And he's going to need to continue that. I hope that he has some more activity. It'll be great to see him in the ring, maybe at the start of the coming year, if he doesn't end it or close it out, let's say November, December time with another fight, maybe something, February or something like that, get him back in the ring. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad to see him back active. Like I said, if he is not done, I am not. I meet fire with fire. If he's one of my top gunners, if he got the fire, I'm meeting him 10 toes with fire. I will add fire to fire. That's how I play. So I'm definitely in support of his passion. I cannot wait to see what's on the horizon for him. I think you mentioned some names that he could potentially fight, whoever has the belt or, whoever is highly ranked. I think he stands to compete with all of these guys. It's definitely on the horizon for him. And, I think that, seeing him more active in whatever fight that he has coming up or whatever fights, that he has coming up after that, I think that activity is going to definitely add, to everything that he's been learning in his time off. It's going to add to his confidence in keeping that activity going. And did you see, is it true that he parted with Malik Scott? Were you aware of that? Because I had heard some rumblings about it. I don't know if it's true. It's just speculation from now on. Of course, I have not heard Wilder himself mention anything about having officially parted with Malik. But on that subject, if I could be honest, beautiful king, I was not really, 10 toes with the partnership with Malik, even though I understand that their brotherhood is very strong and the trust between them and respect between them is very strong. I like that. But I just didn't see where after the Parker and Zhang fights where Wilder was getting better. I did not see progress. And so I started wondering, if perhaps he needed to maybe add somebody else as a head trainer or just maybe revamp the team as a whole. I'm not sure. I did see the white guy, I always forget his name, still in his corner, his long time, the guy who's been rocking with him. JD's, I believe is his name. I did see that in there, but I did have my own suspicions about Malik Scott, even though, of course, I respect their union and brotherhood and stuff like that. I was wondering, like, if someone else would come in, would that make, or incite a new level of, like, his game that we perhaps haven't seen. But yeah, what did you think about that? Did you hear anything about maybe a split between Malik Scott? Is he going to continue to work with Malik Scott? Do you think it's necessary for him to fully part with Malik? Or do you think that, having him around, let's say in the periphery, would be a good idea? You hear me, King? Oh, I think BF dropped out. Can y'all still hear me? Let me know.
I hear you just fine.
Oh, you hear me fine. Okay. I wasn't sure if I cut out. Yeah. What do you think about the possibility of him splitting up from Malik, fully? I also heard people saying, no, Malik is still in the background. He's just working with other fighters.
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
That absolutely makes sense. Seriously makes sense. Because if you really think about it, he didn't like they're brothers, right? They've been, and it just makes sense that he gets guidance, he gets advice, right? He gets all these things, but there is someone that's showing him something that's keeping him somewhere that fits his skill set, that fits his style. So it makes perfect sense to do that. I would do the same thing. Yeah. I wouldn't get rid of somebody that gives me continuity. I would get rid of someone. Well, I would just, if that's my brother, I will take my brother's advice and stuff like that. But I would want someone that's going to, that's going to tighten up the skills that I already have. And I would love that. I would love that for him. So I don't think he should get rid of anybody, especially people that he trusts. In the game of boxing, there's the sport of boxing. There's very few people, and I said game for a reason. There's very few people in it that are trustworthy. Most of these people are not. They're snakes. So when you got one, you have to hold on to that. So I wouldn't say get rid of them like that. Nah, but I would absolutely recommend that he brings in someone who is more in line with what he does the best.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You know, I definitely respect their brotherhood and their unity, but you know, of course, I'm open to the option of him bringing somebody in um, that could you know suit a war style or develop with him a war style that could put him on a path to you know the success that you know he's amassed for himself all of these years, but even
Yes.
some new things that we haven't seen. You know what I'm saying? He's still a fighter, he's still active, and therefore he is still capable of you know learning and blossoming.
Yes. Yes.
And that's the part that people tend to forget. They want to just write him off because of his age. They want to write him off because of the history, let's say, of the past few fights and stuff like that. It's like, listen, the best of them have fought. The best of them have, you know, come up short. You know what I'm saying? And the best of them have also picked themselves up and continued. A lot of these people would not be called the best if they simply gave up where they, you know, met a challenge or where they met an impasse.
Right.
It's crazy the type of mindset that some of these people have. I definitely stand 10 toes with the King Wilder. I'm glad that he got his dub. He definitely deserves it, you know, and I can't wait to see what more he adds onto this because he definitely, for as long as he's ready to, you know, go on the journey, I'll be there 10 toes to support him. It's wonderful what he's done for the sport of boxing. And as long as he's got that fire, I'm meeting him with fire, you know?
Yes.
Absolute
Absolutely.
facts.
Absolutely.
Yes. Anything else you wanted to add, Beautiful King, before we wrap it up?
No, I just like I stayed in the background and I wanted the queen to cook. And just, you know, just be that side to the queen while she cooks. So I was really happy. I'm really glad that you did this. And I'm really eager to do it again. Like I really quite enjoy just listening to your take, you know, and just jumping in when needed because I really enjoy listening to you. So thank you for doing this. And I quite enjoyed it.
Beautiful King, you know, I shower you all the time. But, you know, I really do appreciate your wisdom. I appreciate your wealth of boxing knowledge. It is wonderful to talk boxing with you. It's a sport that you are clearly passionate about. It's a sport that I am clearly passionate about. And, you know, speaking to somebody of such a wonderful mind and such a genuine and pure passion for something that I hold dear to me as well. I'm always in good company with you. So anytime that you want to, you know, talk some boxing or whatever, we just chop it up. I'm very appreciative to have even the opportunity to do that, let alone you actually agreeing to. Like I said, you guys, this was impromptu. I literally thought of it on the spot this afternoon while listening to BS Live. And he did not talk about not ducking smoke. He was 10 toes. He's like, what? What time, Queen?
Yes.
What time?
Yes.
So that's the spirit that I love. He definitely, you know, met my fire with his fire. I'm appreciative. And I'm definitely appreciative to all the family who pulled up, you know, to enjoy the conversation with us. And yeah, hopefully we could do it soon. Again, I definitely like that very, very much.
You just say when, love. Just say when.
Facts. All right, you guys. Oh, I think I got another super chat.
Oh, you did.
Yes, we did. Okay, it's from the Professor X. Blessings to super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. BF appreciates the support, of course. Yeah, that's it for us, family. Until next time, thank you again for joining us. I hope you guys had as much as fun as I did. And I hope you had as much fun. I also had fun as well. I don't know why I got bashful just now, you guys. I literally started blushing. But thank you so much, you guys, for the boxing talk. And I will see you next time. Peace.
On to next. Peace.
On to next.